swallow the sucker?
Yeah, he swallowed it, but I mean, that's what we're doing, guys. We work the edges over and try to catch them, and then we go deep. And so we went down there deep, and we're starting to pick up our fish. So, nice job.
Is this a wild trout or?
No, they're clipped. See the fins clipped right here? We get very few wild ones here. So we don't have, we keep them because they go up in the hatchery and they'll spawn them, and they'll take most of them, a lot of them, and put them in the afterbay. And then they end up out in the duck clubs. The afterbay pumps water into the rice fields. And they end up out in the duck clubs, and so they're all gonna die anyways. They pretty much go to waste. So they're great eating, and so we really don't worry about keeping these fish. So they're great eating fish. They're just a hatchery fish. The fin's been clipped on them, and this one swallowed it, and you get two a person, so we'll keep these as well. This one's gonna be a good eater.
And a question is always asked a lot is, why are the steelhead smaller on the Sacramento and Feather River? And the reason being is that our salmon fishery and natural spawning salmon in these rivers they're basically non-existent anymore. So that's a big food source for the steelhead, and that's why they're so small. They just don't have enough food in the river to survive at the older ages where you would see the steelhead getting bigger, which is really important. If you don't have a lot of food, your fish are not going to be as big, and there won't be as many. If you want to improve the steelhead fishing and the size of the fish, we have to start out with the salmon. We have to bring the salmon back. And when we get the salmon coming back and spawning naturally, you'll have the derived nutrients in the water. And you'll see larger sizes and better populations because there'll be more food in the river, which typically when you have good steelhead runs, you'll have good salmon runs. They go together. And you need years of good runs of salmon to really bring the steelhead back. Steelhead, generally, when they get to the larger sizes, they're generally just like a salmon, 3 to 5 year old fish. And that's what we need coming back. Currently, we're having generally about 1 to 2 year old fish coming back, and then very few of the larger size on all of the rivers. So we need to improve the salmon, and the steelhead will come back. I would like to see, once we start getting some salmon coming back, that we do improve the hatchery production for steelhead, which would be a very good thing for us. We want to talk a little bit about the 4 distinct runs of salmon in the Sacramento Valley. That would be the main rivers and tributaries. Historically had 4 runs of king salmon. They had a fall run, they had a spring run, they had a late fall run, and they had a winter run. And basically over the last 50 years, those runs have basically depleted themselves to the point where one distinct run goes, then the next one goes, because all the salmon depend on each other having 4 distinct runs. So that's why we're having problems on the rivers and the tributaries, is that we lost one run of fish, and when you lose that, it's just a cycle of losing all the runs. It's like riding your bicycle and you take a spoke out of the wheel. It doesn't run very good, and then all of a sudden another one falls off. Pretty soon your wheels fall off. That's where we are on the Sacramento River now. We've got some great programs started that hopefully we can bring the river back and bring the fish back. We got one program currently where we take the carcasses from Battle Creek. That's the salmon carcasses. They've spawned those out, and we take them and distribute them along the river through here, through a section of river where we typically would have natural spawning. We're trying to build up the derived nutrients for the juvenile fish and the inward migrating steelhead, because the environment needs salmon. Salmon are the foundation of the food chain on our river systems and tributaries, and when we lose the salmon, we lose all the other organisms and fish and wildlife that depend on the salmon, because they are the foundation of the food chain on this Sacramento River system. So this is one of our salmon carcasses that we put back in the river about 2 weeks ago, and this is one of our location points where we like to put the fish in. A lot of juvenile salmon and steelhead like to live along the river here until they migrate out to sea. Something's been eating on this one. You can see he's feeding the river already. But these salmon are crucial to have in the river. Derived salmon nutrients, as they call it. Everything in the river that lives here needs salmon. So hopefully one day we can bring back a healthy population of natural spawning salmon and steelhead into this river. But since we started this program, we see that it's very beneficial to the river itself.